Ever wonder what younger women are really noticing about you in those first few moments? Look, I get it. Many older men second guess themselves constantly. But gentlemen, you're about to discover the specific qualities that catch her attention. And trust me, they're not what you think. Your age, it's actually your advantage. First, your calm confidence. Have you noticed how younger women seem drawn to men who aren't trying too hard? There's a reason for that, and it's backed by science. Research consistently shows that calm confidence, not arrogance, not insecurity, is one of the most powerful attraction triggers. Relationship psychologists have found that women, especially younger women, are incredibly attuned to signals of emotional maturity and self-assurance. So what exactly is calm confidence? It's that quiet, unshakable sense of self that comes from knowing who you are. It's not about puffing your chest or dominating every conversation. It's the opposite. It's being comfortable in your own skin without needing constant validation. Think about the difference between a guy who walks into a room trying to prove something versus a man who simply occupies his space with ease. She notices that difference immediately. Now here's where your age becomes a massive advantage. Younger men often carry this anxious energy. They're still figuring themselves out, still seeking approval, still trying to impress. You've already navigated decades of challenges, setbacks, and successes. That experience creates authentic self-assurance that simply can't be faked. You've learned that your worth isn't determined by whether one woman finds you attractive. And ironically, that's exactly what makes you more attractive. She picks up on this through your body language. Calm confidence shows up in your posture. You're not slouching in insecurity or overcompensating with aggressive gestures. It's in your steady voice, not loud to prove a point, not hesitant from doubt. It's in your unhurried movements. You don't rush to fill silences or frantically seek her approval. This registers completely differently than peacocking behavior. While younger guys are trying hard to be noticed, you're simply present. In conversation, calm confidence means you can disagree without getting defensive. You can admit when you don't know something. You can laugh at yourself without diminishing yourself. You maintain eye contact without staring her down. You ask questions from genuine curiosity, not as a strategic move. These are the moments when she's watching and thinking, this man has nothing to prove. Here's what to avoid: overcompensating. Don't brag about your accomplishments or talk about how much younger you feel. That signals insecurity, which undermines everything. But confidence isn't just about how you carry yourself. It's also about how you engage with her world. Second, how you listen. When was the last time you saw a younger guy put his phone down and actually listen? Exactly. And this is where you have an incredible edge. Studies on active listening show that the ability to truly hear someone is one of the strongest predictors of attraction and emotional connection. Communication researchers have found that quality attention creates powerful bonding, and psychologists agree that this skill dramatically improves with age and emotional maturity. Here's the difference. Active listening isn't just waiting for your turn to speak. It's not planning your next witty comment while she's talking. It's being fully present with what she's saying, absorbing not just her words, but the emotion and meaning behind them. Younger women can immediately sense when someone is genuinely listening versus performing interest. And gentlemen, in a world of distracted dating, your undistracted attention is like gold. Think about what real listening looks like physically. Your body is oriented toward her. Your eyes stay on her face, not darting around the room, not glancing at your phone, not checking out who just walked in. Your responses are timed naturally because you're actually processing what she said. You ask follow-up questions that prove you were tracking the conversation. You remember the name of her difficult coworker she mentioned 10 minutes ago? This depth of engagement is something younger men simply haven't developed yet. Now here's why age makes you better at this. Maturity brings patience. You're not in a rush to impress or perform. You've learned that real connection comes from genuine curiosity, not transactional conversation, where you're just trying to get something. You actually want to understand her perspective. You've lived long enough to know that every person has fascinating stories if you bother to ask the right questions. This signals to her that you see her as a complete person, not just a potential conquest. She notices you're listening immediately when you reference something she said earlier without her having to repeat it. When you ask clarifying questions that show you care about accuracy. When you pause before responding instead of jumping in. These behaviors tell her you value her thoughts and presence. The biggest mistake? Interrupting or steering every conversation back to yourself. That breaks the spell instantly. Now, she's also noticing something about your physical presence, and it's more subtle than you think. Third, your refined style. Think younger women don't notice how you dress. Think again. Research on first impressions shows that people form judgments within the first 7 seconds of meeting someone, and your appearance is the primary data point. Studies consistently link grooming and style to perceived status, success, and self-respect. Fashion experts agree that style maturity is one of the most underrated aspects of attraction, especially when it comes to older men. So, what does refined style actually mean? It's not about chasing trends or wearing what 20-somethings are wearing. It's about quality over quantity. It's clothing that fits properly, not too tight, trying to show off, not too baggy, trying to hide. It's about fabrics that feel good and look expensive, even if they weren't. Refined style is that attention to detail that shows you care about yourself. A clean, well-maintained watch, shoes that aren't scuffed, a belt that matches those shoes. These details signal self-respect, and she absolutely notices. Here's where guys your age often mess up. They either dress like they're stuck in the decade they peaked, or they try to dress like their son. Both are mistakes. Age-appropriate doesn't mean boring. It means understanding what works for your body, your lifestyle, and your stage of life. A well-fitted blazer, quality denim, a leather jacket that's worn in, not worn out, classic pieces that never go out of style. Now, why does this matter more for older men? Because your appearance is competing against younger men's youth. But here's your advantage. You can afford better quality. You've had years to figure out what works for your body type and coloring. You're not experimenting with fashion. You have a style, and that confidence in your presentation communicates success and stability. While younger guys are still figuring themselves out through their clothes, you've arrived. She notices specific things immediately. Are your clothes clean and pressed? Do they fit your current body, not the body you had 10 years ago? Are your shoes in good condition? Is your hair intentionally styled or just neglected? These grooming details tell her whether you have your life together. A man who takes care of his appearance takes care of his life. But it's not just about how you look. It's how you move through social situations that really catches her attention. Fourth, your social ease. Social. Ever notice how she watches the way you interact with others? That's not by accident. Social psychology research shows that how a man navigates social situations is one of the strongest indicators of status and character. Studies on group dynamics reveal that women pay extremely close attention to how men treat people, especially those who can't offer them anything in return. Experts in social intelligence agree that this is one of the key qualities women assess when evaluating long-term partners. So what is social ease? It's the ability to feel comfortable in virtually any social setting without being arrogant or anxious. It's walking into a room and naturally belonging without demanding attention. It's making the waiter feel seen, making your friends laugh, and making strangers feel comfortable. Social ease means you can navigate a dive bar and a fancy restaurant with equal confidence. You have command without needing to dominate. Think about how you treat service staff. She's watching that intently. Are you respectful? Patient? Do you say please and thank you? The way you interact with people who aren't on a date performance reveals your true character. She's also watching how you engage with your friends. Are you generous, funny, loyal? Do you lift people up or put them down? How you move through different social contexts tells her everything about the kind of life you lead and the kind of partner you'll be. Here's where your age gives you a massive advantage. Decades of networking, socializing, and navigating complex situations have given you natural social fluidity that younger men simply haven't developed. You've been to enough parties, dinners, work events, and weddings to know how to read a room. You know when to lead and when to follow. This isn't something you can fake, it's earned through experience. And to a younger woman, this social confidence signals that you can introduce her to an interesting world full of opportunities and connections. She's specifically watching these moments: how you handle an awkward situation, how you include others in conversation, whether you gossip or speak respectfully about people who aren't present. Red flags include being rude to staff, dominating conversations, or name-dropping to impress. Speaking of how you handle situations, there's something even deeper she's noticing, and it's one of the most attractive qualities you possess. Fifth, your emotional stability. What does she notice when things don't go as planned? Everything. Psychological research on emotional regulation shows that a person's ability to manage their emotions under pressure is one of the strongest predictors of relationship success. Studies consistently link emotional stability to long-term relationship satisfaction, and experts in emotional intelligence stress that this quality becomes even more important in age gap relationships. Why? Because younger women are specifically looking for what they can't find in men their own age. Let's be clear about what emotional stability means. It's not about suppressing your emotions or being some stoic robot. It's about having the self-awareness and maturity to process your feelings without letting them control you. When the reservation gets messed up, when work stress is high, when there's a conflict, how do you respond? Do you blow up, shut down, blame others, or do you take a breath, assess the situation, and handle it calmly? Think about the difference here. A younger guy gets cut off in traffic and rages for 20 minutes. His team loses, and he's in a bad mood all evening. A small disagreement turns into a dramatic argument. You've learned that most problems aren't worth the emotional energy. You've developed the ability to separate what matters from what doesn't. You can be disappointed without being devastated. You can be frustrated without being hostile. This calm, measured approach to life's inevitable challenges is incredibly attractive. Here's why this is a game changer for younger women. They've dated the emotionally reactive guys, the ones who can't handle stress, the ones whose mood dictates the entire evening, the ones who create drama out of nothing. Your emotional stability promises something they desperately want: security. Not financial security, emotional security. The knowledge that you won't fall apart when things get tough, that you'll be the steady presence when life gets chaotic. She's testing this quality more than you realize. When plans change unexpectedly, when she brings up something that's bothering her, when you don't get your way, these moments reveal everything. The key is being emotionally present without being emotionally volatile. You're neither cold nor explosive. You're grounded. Now, this next one might surprise you because it's about something younger men simply can't compete with. Sixth, your interesting stories. Why does she keep asking you questions about your past experiences? Because you're genuinely interesting. Research on storytelling and attraction shows that people who can share compelling narratives are perceived as more attractive, intelligent, and memorable. Studies on novelty reveal that humans are wired to be drawn to new information and experiences, and communication experts consistently emphasize that engaging stories create emotional bonds that superficial small talk simply can't match. Here's what you have that younger men don't: decades of actual experiences. You've traveled places, navigated career challenges, weathered personal storms, learned hard lessons, and collected stories that are genuinely fascinating. Maybe you backpacked through Europe in your 20s. Maybe you started a business that failed and learned everything from that failure. Maybe you've had conversations with interesting people, been to unusual places, or witnessed historical moments. This depth creates conversations that go beyond "what's your favorite Netflix show?" Now, the key is sharing these stories without coming across like you're lecturing or bragging. It's not about proving how interesting you are, it's about inviting her into your world. The best stories have vulnerability, humor, or insight. They reveal something about who you are and how you think. When she asks about your past, she's not just being polite, she's genuinely curious about the experiences that shaped you. That curiosity is attraction. Think about what your stories reveal. They show character, how you handled adversity, treated people, made decisions. They demonstrate growth. You're not the same person you were 20 years ago, and that evolution is attractive. They communicate worldliness. You've seen things, done things, learned things that add texture to who you are today. While younger guys are still figuring out their first real job, you're sharing insights from an entire career arc. The types of stories that captivate her? Adventures with unexpected outcomes, moments when you failed and what you learned, times when you had to make tough choices, interesting people you've encountered. Just avoid making every story about how great you were. Balance confidence with humility. And remember, storytelling is a dialogue, not a monologue. Share a story, then ask about her experiences. But here's something she notices even more immediately, and it's a quality that cuts through everything else we've talked about. 7th, your decisiveness. Ever wonder why she seems so attracted when you simply make a decision? There's actual science behind this. Studies on leadership and attraction consistently show that women are drawn to men who can make confident decisions without agonizing over every detail. Research on decision-making reveals that the ability to assess options and commit to a choice signals competence and confidence. Psychologists note that decisiveness taps into a fundamental dynamic. It's masculine energy that creates a natural polarity she finds attractive. So, what does decisiveness look like in dating? It's suggesting a specific restaurant instead of the exhausting, I don't know, where do you want to go? Back and forth. It's saying, let's meet at 7:30 at that Italian place on 5th Street, not maybe we could hang out sometime if you want. It's choosing the wine without a 15-minute deliberation. It's taking initiative to plan the second date instead of waiting to see what happens. This isn't about controlling her. It's about having enough confidence in your judgment to make a call. Here's what she's really responding to: the relief of masculine direction. She's tired of guys who can't decide anything, who constantly defer to her, who need her to lead every interaction. When you make decisions confidently, you're communicating that you know what you want. You've lived long enough to trust your instincts. You're not paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong choice because you understand that most decisions aren't life or death, they're just dinner. Age gives you a massive advantage here. You've made thousands of decisions in your life. You've learned that perfect information never arrives and that analysis paralysis is worse than an imperfect choice. You have clarity about what you value and what you enjoy. While younger guys are still seeking approval for every decision, you've developed the confidence to commit. This decisiveness signals broader life competence. If you can confidently navigate restaurant choices and weekend plans, you can probably handle bigger life decisions too. She notices this immediately when making plans, when something unexpected happens and you adapt quickly, when there are multiple options and you assess and choose. The key? Be decisive without being rigid. Make decisions, but stay open to her input. Lead while respecting her preferences, and when you combine decisiveness with this next quality, you become absolutely magnetic. 8. Your undivided attention. When's the last time she felt like the only woman in the room? If you can create that feeling, you've already won. Research on attention and bonding shows that the quality of attention we give someone directly impacts how connected they feel to us. Studies on presence and attraction reveal that undivided attention is one of the most powerful attraction accelerators. And experts consistently note that making someone feel truly seen and valued creates deep emotional bonds that superficial interactions never achieve. So, what does undivided attention actually look like? Your phone is face down, not just on silent, but completely out of the equation. You're not glancing at other women walking by. You're not checking the score or scanning the room. Your eyes are on her face. Your body is oriented toward her. When she speaks, you're not mentally rehearsing your response. You're actually absorbing what she's saying. You notice the small things. When her energy shifts, when something makes her eyes light up, when she hesitates before saying something vulnerable. This level of presence is shockingly rare in modern dating. Younger guys are constantly distracted, checking notifications, worried about who's watching, mentally somewhere else. They're physically present, but emotionally absent. You've learned something they haven't, that being fully present with one person is more rewarding than being partially present with everyone. This focused attention communicates something powerful, that she matters, that she's worth your complete focus, that she's interesting enough to hold your attention without any digital backup. Here's why older men excel at this. You're not desperate for external validation through your phone. You're secure enough to give someone your full attention without FOMO. You understand that real connection requires presence, not performance. This depth of engagement creates chemistry that texting and surface-level conversation never can. She tests this constantly. She'll pause mid-story to see if you're actually tracking. She'll mention something subtle to see if you caught it. She notices when your attention drifts and when it locks in. The moments that create real chemistry, when she realizes you're genuinely fascinated by her, not just waiting for your turn to talk, but there's one final thing that ties all of this together, and it's the quality that makes everything else meaningful. Ninth, your sense of purpose. Can you articulate what drives you beyond your career? If you can, you're already ahead of most men. Studies on purpose and attraction show that people living with clear direction are perceived as significantly more attractive and desirable. Research on life direction reveals that having purpose is one of the strongest predictors of relationship satisfaction and longevity. Psychologists emphasize that meaningful living creates an energy and vitality that transcends age, and younger women are incredibly drawn to men who know why they get up in the morning. So, what does having purpose actually mean? It's not about making more money or climbing some corporate ladder. It's about having things in your life that genuinely excite you. Maybe you're passionate about a creative project. Maybe you mentor younger professionals. Maybe you're learning a new skill, building something, contributing to a cause you believe in, or pursuing personal growth with intention. Purpose is that forward momentum. You're not just coasting on past achievements. You're still evolving, still curious, still engaged with life. This is incredibly attractive because it signals vitality. A man with purpose radiates energy that has nothing to do with his age. He's interesting because he's interested. He has things to talk about beyond complaining or reminiscing. When you talk about what drives you, she hears passion, ambition, and vision. She sees someone who's not done becoming who they're meant to be. Here's why this matters so much in age gap relationships. Purpose proves you're not stagnant. You've built a life, yes, but you're still building. You have accomplishments, but you're not resting on them. This offers her something compelling: partnership with a man who has both stability and trajectory. She's not joining a life that peaked 10 years ago. She's joining a life that's still unfolding. When you talk about your purpose, authenticity matters. Don't pretend to be passionate about things you're not. Don't make it all about work or all about leisure. Balance matters. She's listening for genuine enthusiasm, for what makes you come alive. Signs she's attracted to your purpose? She asks follow-up questions. She wants to understand your projects. She sees herself fitting into your vision. Remember, all these qualities work together to create an incredibly attractive presence that younger men simply cannot match. All right, gentlemen, now you know the 9 things younger women instantly notice about older men that turn them on. These aren't qualities you need to fake. You already possess them or can develop them naturally. Your years are working for you, not against you. If you found this valuable, hit that like button. Drop a comment telling me which quality resonates most with you, and subscribe for more insider dating advice. Want to know the signs she's attracted to you, or first date mistakes older men make? Check out those videos next. Thanks for watching, gentlemen. Remember, confidence is your superpower.